Well, thanks very much. Good evening, everyone. So this evening I'm going to talk about enhancing the customer's experience through competent complaint handling. Once I get to know how all these gadgets work. So I think, first of all, I think it's fair to say that banks have been through a really dark period over the past 5 or more years with regard to complaint handling. And down the right-hand side there, you can see the media headlines, which represent the number of actions that, or some of the actions that FCA have taken against a number of firms for deficiencies in their complaint handling. However, you know, I do think that perhaps there's a light at the end of the tunnel for banks, as it would seem that obviously there is a lot of hard work going on with the banks to improve their complaints processes. And although no one's in a position at this stage to be complacent, I think firstly the Financial Ombudsman Service, they've just published their complaints data for H2 2013. And whilst you can see there that the annual volumes that they're receiving from customers, or from our customers, from bank customers, that's increased up to nearly 576,000 complaints. Their H2 figures are showing a levelling off when they're compared to the same period last year. You know, so again, they've seen a reduction in the PPI, and we all know about the publicity that PPI's had just now, and with claims management companies, etc. But they've seen for the first time that the PPI volumes on a weekly basis have moved from 12,000 at the beginning of the year down to 7,000 per week towards the end of the year there. And I think the good news from a banking complaint specifically is that the complaint volumes that they're seeing are down 11% there from H1. However, the uphold rates, and that is where the Ombudsman is finding in favour of the customer rather than the banks, they still remain uncomfortably high. So that is most definitely an area that banks need to be focusing on in the year ahead or so, and going forward. The FCA is due to publish data as well shortly, so that's due out in April. So hopefully the latest figures that we see there will continue to show the green shoots of improvement as well, and build on their H1 2013 figures. So excluding PPI again, their complaint volumes are on a downward trajectory over the last 3 years. I think without a doubt, firms are focusing on the speed of resolution, which is making a difference to the figures that are being reported to the FCA. And around half the time, banks are agreeing with their customers that we've got it wrong. So all in all, the recent signs of the publication of the FOSS and FCA figures, I would say that they are encouraging that the banks are moving in the right direction. So the complaints, if dealt with correctly, are indeed a great opportunity and a gift for firms. So not only do we get the opportunity to put things right, but customers themselves, whilst they want the complaint resolved, they also want confirmation that they've made the right decision with banking with that particular bank. Even if you know, from another benefit perspective, is for banks, if they handle complaints very well, then this can increase the loyalty of customers. And I'll explain how that works in a moment. And finally, by complaining, customers are pinpointing to the banks where things are going wrong. and where they need to improve. So banks just need to fix them. It sounds so simple, and it's not as simple as that, but it does appear that way. So this slide provides the evidence that a firm that handles a customer's complaint exceedingly well, the customer will tend to be more loyal than if the customer didn't have a problem at all. So customer loyalty here is defined with the 3 R's, which is basically the likelihood of the customer remaining, the likelihood of them recommending them to others, to friends and family, and the likelihood to repurchase from the firm as well. So historical data shows that around 84% of customers never have a problem. But out of these 69%, just working my way across the top there, 69% of customers that don't have a problem are very likely to remain, 44% very likely to recommend us to others, and 24% very likely to repurchase. Out of the 16% who do incur a problem, the 60, and I'm not entirely sure how this light works here. Oh, there we go. So out of the 16% who do have a problem, 62% there will tell us about it in the form of a complaint, and they'll give us the opportunity to fix things, whilst 38% of customers don't say anything. So out of that 62% that tell us, if we can manage to get the customers very satisfied through the quality of our complaint handling, if they're happy with very satisfied with the way that we've handled the complaint, you see there that 72% are very likely to remain. So there's more, if you resolve a complaint very well, there is more likelihood then that the customer will remain with you, recommend you, and also repurchase from you as well. If, however, you're only satisfying the customer, or, God forbid, customers dissatisfied, you can see there's a massive drop in the way that customers regard their loyalty to you. So that shows how important it is to make sure that the customer's very satisfied with the way that you've handled the complaint. You can also see the score there at the bottom, the 38% for customers who don't complain at all. They don't let you know about their problem, and they are actually more likely to be loyal to you than if they complained and you only satisfactorily resolved their complaint. So we can maybe leave how we make it easier for these customers, or understand why the 38% won't actually raise a complaint with us. There's obviously a number of reasons for that. That's maybe a future session for us where we can investigate that. So there's various research that's been done as well to determine the areas of complaint handling which are most important to customers. So I suppose not surprisingly, the accuracy of resolution is up there at the top. It's followed by keeping promises. So that's to say, if we say to a customer that we'll do something, it is vital that we do follow through. So whether that's, we've said that we'll refund charges or cancel standing orders, it's very important that we follow these actions through. The importance of communication can't be underestimated as well, whether that's in writing, face-to-face, or over the phone. And I can't think of anything better to have than a good engagement strategy, where you ensure that the customer's involved in all stages of the process, the complaints process, particularly round about the resolution. understanding the needs in the issue, understanding the customer's needs and understanding the issue, that to me is tied into the communication piece, and it also shows the customer's need for the comfort that they know that the staff know what they're talking about, that they understand the impact it's having for the customer, and also that they know what will put it right for the customer. Next, you've got the detailed response as required, including the reasons if the resolution isn't what the customer's actually expecting. And finally there, we've got the speed of resolution, and again, managing the customer's expectations around timescales are very important. So now that we know what aspects of the complaints handling are important to customers, and the areas, therefore, that complaint handlers must be competent in, I just wanted to highlight a few things here. Of course, having correct policies, processes, systems in place that are focusing on the customers are very important. But for me, having competent staff, those that have got the knowledge, skills and behaviours that put the customer first, are paramount. I would give a word of warning for don't be too process driven when resolving complaints, when it's to the detriment of the customer experience. You don't want to get into a position where you're just trying to do a tick box exercise against regulations, etc., and you forget all about the customer, and it is quite an easy place to get into. And lastly, to ensure customers are very satisfied, complaint handlers must be able to provide an intuitive, empathetic solution that meets the particular needs of each customer. You know, it's no longer should we be looking at a one-size-fits-all approach to resolving complaints. And I suppose that's particularly relevant when you're talking about customers in financial difficulty, because the circumstances for all customers are different there. So I just wanted to tell you about an externally accredited training programme which we have launched with Queen Margaret University, with Carol and our team. And that is aimed at all RBS staff who liaise directly with the Financial Ombudsman Service. And we've deliberately aimed at that group of staff to start with. So it's aimed at first year undergraduate module level at university, and it consists of two-day standalone modules. The first one's on effective communication, with the other one on context and decision making. And those are, which I'm finding to my stress levels, I think, that these are followed, because I couldn't organise these kind of courses without taking part myself, I felt. So I'm finding all about this, the post-course assessment that needs to be done, which is basically a 2,000-word assessment with 500-word action plan in there. So that then leads to individuals gaining a total of 20 credit points at SCQF level 7, as well on completion of both the modules there. So this training undoubtedly helps staff to understand the theory, to continue to develop that and apply it in their everyday work, and continue that sort of circuit of doing that. The success criteria then that we've set for that is for our customers, because we've focused in with our Financial Ombudsman Service complaint handlers, it will improve our business's performance through the effective feedback that these complaint handlers will provide to frontline staff. So that will extend to all areas for improvement, and that is going to lead to better quality solutions for customers. For our staff, as I've said, they're going to receive a recognised academic qualification, and there's obviously investment in their personal development. It's improving their skills, improving their confidence. And lastly, but not leastly, it's helping our working relationship and communication with the Financial Ombudsman Service as well. So I'll leave you with a quote from Richard Branson, which seems to sum things up pretty well. So mistakes are inevitable, dissatisfied customers are not. What I would just say is, remember, you need your customers to be very satisfied though. Thanks very much.